Stop limiting the tools you are willing to use in the gym. Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and this is something that frustrates me to no end as both a coach and fitness influencer, a fitness educator, and as an athlete myself, who's been doing this a long time. I'm 48 years old. I've been lifting a little while. I've coached a lot of people. So, when I see people who say silly nonsense like, oh, if you can only do 3 exercises, or what's the best exercise for, it's like, come on guys, just stop. The same thing, you get people who will say things like, well, I only use calisthenics. I only use machines. I'm like, when someone says something like that, for me as a coach who has coached athletes in multiple disciplines for years, okay? Powerlifters, strongmen, bodybuilders, MMA fighters, BJJ, boxers, so on and so forth, golfers, right? People in all these different disciplines. When I hear an ass clown say, I only use calisthenics, or only use machines, or I won't use barbells, or I only use barbells, the first thing that goes through my head? What do you think it is? The first thing I think is, wow, what an absolute moronic, stupid idiot. Like, I don't think they're cool. I don't think they're hardcore. The first thing that goes through my head when someone says something like that is they are functioning at a borderline mentally handicapped level. That's the only possible explanation. No, I mean, seriously, when someone says something like that, I'm like, this is a person who probably almost needs a legal guardian if they are really that stupid. And I don't care, well, I've got a philosophical reason to only move my own body. Like, well, your philosophy is that you're stupid. You're stupid and you don't want results. You want to do everything half-assed and make it as difficult as possible. And here's what I would say to people. Getting amazing results is already hard. Gaining your maximum amount of muscle that you can is hard. Gaining the strength, maximum strength is hard. Gaining maximum athletic performance is hard. Training to run as fast as you can is hard. Having a great physique is really, really difficult. You don't need to put limitations to make these things harder. It's not necessary. So when people do that, I'm like, why are you limiting the tools in your toolbox? I mean, context. You guys are literally watching me with some of this stuff. They're like, wait, coach, what's all these bands? What's all these chains? Why are you doing this explosive work with this stuff? You're doing 1 rep maxes with all sorts of lifts. Like what? What are these weird lifts? You're maxing on a closed grip bench with a funny bar. You're maxing on a really high deficit deadlift. That's a 2.5-inch plate you're standing on. Maximum floor presses with chains. Okay? Doing heavy good mornings with chain. What? I do stuff like that. Then they'll see me do 40, 50 rep sets with bands. Yes, I will do 40 and 50 rep sets with bands to isolate muscles. I train on machines. I own machines. I'll do ultra high reps on machines. I do sets of 25 all the time on the reverse hyper machine. You'll see me do sets of 10 and 12 on weighted bodyweight exercises, weighted dips, weighted pull-ups. I use dumbbells. We use barbells. We use plates. We use machines, everything. Every rep range. I literally in the same week will hit 1 rep maxes and do 30, 40, 50 rep sets on smaller movements. We do max work. We do speed work. Sometimes I'll do calisthenic stuff. I'll get out and push a sled. I'll walk in a weight vest. You guys have seen me do plyometric work like with jumps and bed balls. Why? Why do we do all these things? Because they're tools in our toolbox and they all bring something to the table. When you start limiting the tools that you are willing to use, if they're good tools, I get it if you can't find a use for a tool. Look, I struggle to find a use for the Smith machine, and that upsets people. They're like, aren't you contradicting that? No, I really can't see a good use for it. I struggle. Like sometimes maybe for certain things or certain bodybuilders, I'm like, there's so much better stuff. Like I literally, whenever I see someone doing a leg thing on the Smith machine, I'm like, you could have just done that on a leg press and removed the axial fatigue completely if you just wanted to lock in. So no, it doesn't even make sense. I'm like, it's not that it's limiting the tool. It's saying, hey, there's literally a better tool for that exact thing you're doing. Like literally a leg press, a 45-degree leg press would have done a more effective job. It wouldn't have stimulated more muscle. It would have stimulated the exact same muscle you did with less axial fatigue. Because we're going to get axial fatigue from my other big barbell lifts. We don't need to add it on a machine. Come on. Come on, get serious. We have other tools. Using the best tool. And that's the point with this stuff. You need to always be looking for what tools are going to do what I need to do. What am I trying to achieve here? What am I looking for? And a tool can be a rep range. It can be a modality. Right? Max work, speed work, repetition work, conditioning work, plyometrics, weighted calisthenics, all these things. These are tools in your toolbox. These are tools in the toolbox. Yeah, same thing. Front raises. Oh, there's no point doing the front raise if you do any heavy pressing. The front delts. No, you can isolate the front delts, and it does more than just isolate the front delts. It's a great exercise. Why are you limiting yourself? Why are you going to take an exercise like the front raise? Because some trainer somewhere said, well, if you're bench or incline or overhead press, you got plenty of work on the front. Really? You sure? Because I know a whole lot of world record level benchers who do the front raise. I know a lot of Mr. Olympias who did front raises. It's a good tool. Why are you discounting a good tool? Because you don't think that muscle is worthy of isolating? I'm telling you, as a power lifter, doing some isolation for that can improve your bench press. I'm telling you that there are physique competitors who improve their aesthetics with it too. Why are you limiting your tools? Same thing, I get guys who, I'm big on weighted calisthenics. All you need is chin-ups for your biceps. Really? That didn't work for me. That's why my biceps, I've been having to play catch-up now that I'm doing some physique stuff. I felt like weighted chins would give me all the bicep I needed. They lagged. My back outgrew them. My chest outgrew them. No, stop limiting your tools. Get and do some dumbbell curls. Do some banded curls. Do some preacher curls. Okay? Stop limiting your tools because of some philosophy. Your philosophy should be, I want to reach my potential. I have all these tools in my toolbox, so let's find the right ones to use and let's rotate through them. Sometimes we need to rotate through tools just to avoid overuse injury. Stop limiting yourself. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative. I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.